Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go over the case of Karreon Walker-Franks. This is out of Vancouver, Washington. There's been a little bit of movement in the case, so I think I'm finally able to have enough information to put it together. So here we go. Okay, Karreon Walker-Franks was 15 years old. He was autistic, disabled, partially blind, incontinent, and nonverbal. He was in special ed in school. So basically what happened was the day after Thanksgiving in 2020, he was taken to the emergency room. He died pretty quickly after arriving at the emergency room. They ruled it complications from pneumonia. Okay, we're going to get into what the supposed parents did 2 hours after he was declared dead. But anyway, they sent his body to the funeral home. The funeral home actually called us in and said, whoa, there is something wrong here. This little boy did not just die of pneumonia. He weighed 61 pounds at 15 years old. He had bruises and all kinds of marks all over him. And so they asked the medical examiner to do an actual autopsy. And what's come back is pretty horrifying. The worst part, in my opinion, is not only has Child Protective Services in Washington been called to this family numerous times by numerous different people, neighbors, family members, different teachers, the whole shebang. CPS actually came and visited him in his home 7 days before he died. So now that we've kind of got the basics down, I'm going to read the story to you that I found that first told me about the story. This is from Fox News 12 in Oregon, and this is again in Vancouver, Washington. According to a Clark County medical examiner, 15-year-old Karreon Walker-Franks weighed just 70 pounds at the time of his death. Starvation and neglect were listed on the death certificate as the cause of death. The Vancouver Police Department is still investigating and no arrests have been made. Police affidavits filed in support of search warrants and bank records detail the observations teachers, family members, and child welfare workers made in the days and months leading up to Karreon's death. 2 reports were made to CPS in 2017 that Karreon and his siblings were being denied food as punishment. Court papers filed in February of this year show that an aunt made a report to Child Protective Services just 7 days before Karreon died on November 27th of 2020. In that report, according to the affidavit, the aunt reported the teen was a, quote, walking skeleton, and that he, quote, falls down due to malnutrition. Observations made by teachers before the pandemic hit also revealed some red flags about the teen's home life months before his death. According to family, Karreon was autistic, nonverbal, and partially blind. Court documents say Karreon and his 2 brothers were legally adopted in California back in 2012, and that Karreon was enrolled as a sophomore in the special education program at Mountain View High School. Affidavits state that before the pandemic forced students into remote learning, Karreon's teachers observed that he was very food motivated. The court document says one teacher noted he would eat as much as he was given and binge until he'd vomit. A special ed teacher told detectives that Karreon's parents made it clear he was not supposed to have snacks and that Karreon came to school, quote, crying and starving. The affidavit said the teacher asked the teen's brother about what happened, and he said that they were punished for getting into the refrigerator at home by not getting food for the rest of the weekend. The teacher reportedly told a school counselor, who then contacted the boy's mother. The mother told the school personnel that it was their business how they utilized discipline, the court documents said. Child advocates say it's always best to contact law enforcement or Child Protective Services directly. The obligation is on the individual mandated reporter, not on the organization or entity, so it's really incumbent upon folks to take that ownership and take that responsibility seriously. Amy Russell, Executive Director of the Arthur D. Curtis Children's Justice Center, told Fox 12. So, Russell says the pandemic has made reporting suspected child abuse even more challenging since kids have been stuck at home. She says child abuse reports both in Washington and nationwide have declined by about 50%. We know that child abuse isn't stopping. In fact, it's much more likely to be increasing because of all those family stressors, Russell said. Court documents show that a CPS worker went into the teen's home on November 21st, the day after Karreon's aunt filed a complaint. The welfare worker spoke to Karreon's mother and two brothers. The boys described spankings that would leave marks and make them bleed, the affidavit said. One of the brothers told the welfare worker that they observed Karreon's mother hit him with a cane, quote, and that sometimes it's because he vomits, the affidavit said. The Washington Department of Children, Youth, and Family couldn't comment on whether any action was taken after that home visit. According to court documents, Karreon was pronounced dead 6 days later. The medical examiner's office was contacted by the funeral home due to concerns with Karreon's appearance. During the autopsy, court documents indicate that the Clark County medical examiner discovered Karreon had abnormal bone and hair growth, as well as abnormal lesions most likely caused from starvation. At the time of the autopsy, Karreon weighed 61 pounds. So, and then the rest of this is talking about National Child Abuse Awareness Month. This is absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. What do you even say to that? So the update here, and this is where I'm going to put the little news clip that I have. This is what happened 2 or 3 hours after Karreon was declared dead at the hospital.
News tonight, we have new, deeply disturbing information on the Vancouver boy who died of starvation. According to investigators, his adoptive mother went to a casino hours after he died. Detectives looked at surveillance video from the Ende casino, which showed Felicia Adams arrived approximately 3 hours after Karreon Franks died to play the slot machines. She spent more than 4 hours gambling, according to the detective. We learned this week from the medical examiner the 15-year-old was just 61 pounds when he died the day after Thanksgiving of starvation and neglect. Now, nobody has been arrested in this case, and we are digging deeper through these court documents. We'll have more tonight at 5 o'clock.
So this article ran in the Oregonian, and it says, Clark County on Friday issued arrest warrants for a woman and man suspected of starving their teenage boy to death late last year. Felicia Adams and Jesse Franks each face charges of second-degree murder and homicide by abuse in the death of their adopted son, Karreon Walker-Franks, who died in November from starvation at age 15. Arrest warrants issued Friday for Adams and Franks say both parents should be arrested and held without bail. Vancouver police did not immediately respond to questions about whether they know the couple's whereabouts. Adams brought her son to the emergency room at Peace Health Southwest Medical Center in Vancouver on November 27th, according to court records. He was pronounced dead 14 minutes later, and his cause of death was initially listed as pneumonia, the records show. At the time of his death, the 15-year-old boy weighed only 65 pounds. Police learned of the suspicious circumstances surrounding his death a few days later when his body was taken to a funeral home whose staff reported concerns with his appearance. Karreon and his 2 younger brothers were legally adopted by Adams and Franks from their mother, Adams' sister, in 2012. Court records and a report from another family member to state child welfare authorities paint a harrowing picture of the abuse Adams inflicted on Karreon. Karreon had autism and was developmentally disabled, incontinent, nonverbal, and partially blind, according to the search warrant affidavit filed in Clark County Superior Court. Records allege Adams routinely refused to feed the boy and ordered his teachers not to feed him. The boy's teachers, who were interviewed after his death, told investigators that Karreon often came to school soiled and in dirty clothes and was very food motivated. Court records also show that Adams and Franks spent hundreds of hours gambling at Ilani Casino Resort over the past 4 years, and that they went to the casino hours after Karreon died. Adams' sister, Latricia Brown, told authorities her sister had been withholding food from all 3 children for years, and that they had to steal food when they could. Karreon's brothers also reported that their guardians physically abused them, spanking them with various objects, including a paddle, until it broke, and an extension cord which caused one of the boys to bleed. So what do you guys think about it? Let's talk about it down in the comments, and then I'm sure we'll talk about it Friday night. I plan on doing another Hearsay Live. I'm going to invite Paul and Awen. I haven't confirmed that they'll do it, but we'll see. But that'll be Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. You know, I have a problem with any of these child abuse cases that CPS has been involved, mandated reporters have been involved, and the child still ends up in a horrible situation, and this one, is dead. This is absolutely horrendous. But thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, like, comment, share. We're one shy of 600 subs today, and the goal is 1,000. So we're still working on that. I'm working on setting up a Patreon account. I hope to have that done probably tomorrow or so. But anyway, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.